Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? This video is going to be maybe uncharacteristically personal in nature. It still relates to the hobby and my journey in the hobby, but it's one of those things. I guess you'd call it an Achilles heel or some place where I find myself having some difficulty from time to time. Without going into too much detail, a little less than 5 years ago, I made a profound change in my life, to say the least, and it has been nothing but positive to a great degree. And so, really not going to go into that more than that. However, I noticed one of the things that happened is that I kind of lost my ability to concentrate while reading. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it at all. I'm not sure if it was just simply coincidental. Maybe it's age related. There was a period of time where I didn't have a heck of a lot going on, so I read more and was less tired. And now I have a whole bunch of stuff going on, so I'm a little more tired as well. So I'm not entirely sure, but there was a period in my life. I've always been a voracious reader ever since I was a kid. I can't remember not being able to read, even from a very young age, and I just devoured books. And of course, this helps. I think that's kind of common amongst gamers in general. But there was up until about 5 years ago, I was still just tearing through books, and I had a period of time where I was just going to the library, exhausted some of the sections on things like particle physics and whatnot, and a lot of the fiction stuff as well. And I remember it's funny because I read Atlas Shrugged. This book is 1,074 pages, something like that, little teeny font. I don't care whether you like Ayn Rand or not. That's not the point. The point is this is an enormous book, and I read it and retained it. I remember about Rearden Metal and J.C. Taggart and all. I remember the book is the bottom line. It's huge. However, I found myself after mid 2012 not being able to really concentrate like I used to on reading. I used to be able to just kind of get in the zone. And trust me, I would not go back to some of the other things that were going on in my life just to get my reading comprehension or ability to focus back. No, thank you. However, this becomes a bit difficult when I'm learning new games or just preparing for stuff, or just delving into whatever kind of but we'll talk about gaming. So gaming books, it depends sometimes on what they are, though. I got this Swords and Wizardry monster book. It's big giant bestiary, big giant for them, and it's little it contains all the stats and whatnot are just things I'm used to, so I barely even look at them because I can just eyeball and instantly know what this creature is like mechanically. And then it's just all flavor text after that. And so something like that I can skim through. But, once again, not for super long. But that's, easier for me. Then let's go. I got a whole bunch of great reading material. I've been picking up stuff, and I'm kind of behind on reading it. But I've got, great little supplements for things like Desolation Survivors. Wow, a lot of Ruskin stuff in here. Just pretty cool book, actually. Thumb through it, and I'm like, oh, that's decent stuff. I'm glad I got it. Hey, look, I'm dropping stuff. Hey, that's age 2. but I got this great Paris Gothique book, which I'm starting to muddle through. It's got a lot of really good stuff in it for All for One Regime Diabolique, and I've got to read this thing. I've got to know stuff because I got to take these guys on a dungeon crawl. They're worried I'm going to do that. I'm not really, well, no spoilers here, but there are catacombs in Paris and whatnot. This video really hasn't anything to do with that, but it's more difficult. It's more difficult for me to read these things, even when they're interesting to me. It's harder for me to concentrate for a real long period of time, and that's disheartening. That's something that has made it more difficult for me to learn new games and to retain a lot of information. And it's something that it's a personal struggle. It's something that I really kind of have to focus on. And obviously, the more interested I am in the material, the easier it is to hang in there and read more. The more I start to understand all the mechanics of something, so things sound less arcane to me, the easier it is to keep on plodding along in the reading. But I've just noticed at this point in my life, for whatever reason, my shelf life when I'm actually reading something is a lot less than it used to be, and that's very disheartening. And that doesn't just go for gaming books; it goes for fiction, it goes for nonfiction or whatever. And so I'm just hoping to get that back. But once again, I wouldn't trade some of the other things, the great things that have happened in my life, just to get that back. But that is one of the struggles I have, and it spills over into gaming. So I don't know. That's a personal look into my personal life. So if you can relate, let me know.